So, motivation to momentum. So, yesterday I had this session with you, the motivation to momentum, the chunk conversation, right? To take your goals, your outcomes, and to chunk them down. And it turns out my clock rate was set wrong, so I sounded like a chipmunk. It was awkward, to say the least. So, welcome to take 2 of motivation to momentum. Take your big-ass, bodacious goals and chunk them down. So, the question: how do you eat an elephant? How do you eat an elephant? Well, you eat it one bite at a time. Why would you eat it all in one time? Right? You got to eat it one bite at a time. You nibble on it, right? So why is this important? Well, here's the recipe for stress. Try and get everything that you want to get done, all of your goals, all of your outcomes, at the same time. Try to just get it all done. Just try and eat that elephant all at once. It's a recipe for stress. So in NLP terms, that's what's called chunking, is when you take a high level, a big picture experience that you're looking to accomplish, and then you chunk it down. As a matter of fact, you reverse engineer it. So let's imagine that, we could back up and think of like a GPS. Right? So the GPS, what does it do? You put the goal, your outcome, what you want to accomplish, the destination, and then you've got where you are. Now, let's say there are a lot of turns. I remember one time I was back in New York, where I'm from. I was able to get from point A to point B, and I think I was able to take almost every parkway and highway there was on Long Island. It was nuts. We just went all over the place. It became fun. But let's imagine you had a destination that was going to have a lot of roads. It was going to have a lot of turns. And also, by the way, you're going to get some obstacles as well, right? So sometimes roads are closed. Sometimes they're under construction. Sometimes there's traffic. And then you're able to maybe find an alternative route. But what happens is the GPS reverse engineers the process. So it says, okay, I'm trying to get there. And then it goes, in order to get there, I will have to have gone here, 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 and here, right? And then, oh, by the way, I have a plan in case this strategy doesn't work. Then what's the other strategy? The GPS doesn't get stressed out and go, oh my gosh, it's going to suck. We're going to have all these turns. It's going to be so overwhelming, right? But that's what you and I sometimes do when we have all of these things we want to get done. We've got this big goal that we would like to get it done when? Now. And of course, it doesn't happen as quickly or the way we want it to go. So what we want to do is chunk things down and focus on each task. So as you reverse engineer it, say, okay, I've broken down all of these things in order to achieve X. So let's say if it was a dollar amount you wanted to experience and bring it in revenue by such and such a date, right? We talked about SMART goals last week, right? Smarties goals, right? Specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, timely, or time sensitive, right? Those were your general, or you've all heard those. But then the I in writing, E in emotional terms, right? What's in it for you? And then S, make them sexy, sassy, spicy, something that's going to get you excited to go for these outcomes, these goals. So you've written it down, and then you say, okay, I want to accomplish X amount of revenue in a year, let's say. So let's just use a round number, 100,000. You want to make $100,000 in a year. Okay, so that's like roughly 8 to 10,000 a month, right? 8,000 a month. So then you go, okay, in order to do that, let's just go 1 month at a time in order to generate this. And maybe you want to go, okay, actually in 9 months, I will have had to have created X amount of revenue. In 6 months, X amount. In 3 months, X amount. In 2 months, in 1 month. And then you work on those specific action items every day. You go, okay, today, in order to achieve my smaller chunked down goal of 8,000 this month, What activities do I need to do? What income generating activities must I do? How can I get my name out there? And then you boil it down weekly and then daily. So then you're waking up each day after you've reviewed your goals the night before for that day, your action items. You say, okay, you go to sleep. Before you go to bed, you read all your outcomes, your activities, your action items, what you're going to be doing for that moment, that day. You go to sleep visualizing, imagining, feeling the emotions, the joy, the excitement, the pride, the service, the connection to God, whatever that is for you. You feel it, you sense it, you own it. And then you go to sleep and your other than conscious mind processes all that and you dream about it and you integrate all of that. You wake up grateful for the opportunity to serve, to add value, and you've got your list of action items for that day that as you just work on those, you have to be worrying about the big elephant. It's like, no, just these. Just start eating away at the tail or the trunk or whatever. Now, there's another question. Next thing is you want to surround yourself with people who are going to support not only that mindset of chunking it down and so forth, but also maybe helping you figure out where do you start? Where do you start eating that elephant? What makes the most sense? Does it make sense to start eating the tail? Does it make sense to start chomping on one of the legs? Do you start at the trunk? What about the ear? And again, it's a kind of a morbid example, but you get the point, right? So what you want is then a mentor or someone who's done what you are looking to do, who's done it before, has accomplished said feat, and what they'll do is they will help you speed up that process as well, because they'll say, hey, I tried starting with the tail and here's what I found, or I tried starting with the trunk. Yeah, I went right for the trunk and the elephant took me and beat me up a little bit. So you got to start with the tail or start with the leg or what have you. So the truth is that when we surround ourselves and we're comfortable asking advice from mentors, from someone who's achieved it, then we be able to speed up our process. That's why coaches, mentoring, being parts of groups, of organizations is so powerful. It's one of the biggest gifts I ever gave myself, using God's guidance and beyond, was surrounding myself with people who their normal is what I aspire to. So what would happen is I'd start picking up, yeah, I see. Start with the foot. All right, got it. Okay. Oh, don't try and eat the whole elephant at one time, because oftentimes what we think is capable, like what you and I think we could do in, a year or two, we underestimate. And we overestimate what we think we can do in, a month or a day. And like our eyes are bigger than our stomachs in that case. We're like, oh, yeah, I've seen people do overnight successes. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's not really a fair comparison, because what you didn't see was the decades, the tens of thousands of hours that person put into this opportunity, such that when an opportunity came, they were so ready, they were so prepared, they were able to jump on it and create that what appeared to be overnight success, but that was just they're being honored for all the work that they had already done. So that's the power of chunking down, focusing on just what you can do in those moments, that day, that week, that month, and the chunks would get obviously bigger as far as an outlook. And then the last thing is to look at mind mapping. And you could just do a search for mind mapping. There are plenty of applications, just, web-based or downloads, that basically you create your mind map, which is putting your main outcome in the center. And then off these little things that go off are the chunks. that you need to work on. So maybe you have a marketing chunk, and then in that mind map, we'll have all these little shoots of, okay, email, social media, texting, your web page, all of those things. And each one of those would then have other smaller little tasks. So you don't have to be overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, look at all the stuff I got to do and all the stuff I want to accomplish. Go, no, okay, but I could break it down to bite-size, achievable, actionable activities. And then our dear friend, Mr. Mark Twain, shared this. The secret to getting ahead is getting started. The secret to getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. That was Samuel Langhorne Clemens, otherwise known as Mark Twain. And here's the last thought in that context. You don't have to get it right. You just have to get it going. So what can you just start doing today? What could you pick up the phone and just reach out to somebody? Could you do your own mind map? Could you start chunking stuff down? Could you get yourself in an environment where there are other people who have chunked down before and get some advice from them? Say, hey, where do I start? Let's say I wanted to start a business, or I wanted to start writing a book, or I wanted to, start exercise. I want to get healthy. Where do I start? Right? I got to lose 20 pounds. What do I do? Right? And then we get so overwhelmed and we think we want it done overnight. Yet if we focus on, okay, just for today, here are the action items that I'm going to execute. And then every day have a new set of action items that we can execute and then move on from there. That's the power of chunking. So, with that being said, if this is powerful, please share this. If this is something that has added value to your world, if you had an aha moment, please comment. What was an aha moment that you had? What was an idea that you have? What can you add to this conversation? I'd like this to be a two-way conversation, not just a one-way conversation. And if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas, please feel free to reach out. And then if you're interested in digging in deeper, if you're interested in learning even more about how you can exponentially increase your results, your income, your finances, your fitness, your relationships, and beyond, and you want to be part of a tribe of like-minded individuals who play at a high level, who support each other, who celebrate successes, who resource share referrals, share opportunities, even do joint venture opportunities, go ahead to thementormind.com and learn a little bit more about that. And there's also a free training there called the Network Your Way to Wealth. 3 secrets to unlocking and rocking your resources to exponentially increase your results in life. So with that being said, I appreciate you and I love you for who you are and who you aren't. I look forward to serving you in the future, and God bless. We'll see you soon.